time you seen a giant, Jon Snow?
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie, and I am passing around flyers. Please send a raven to Egret if you have seen this boy. I'm also here to tell you that today is Plaid Day. Just kidding, but today is Jon Snow Day on my channel. So let's talk about him and what's going to be happening at the Wall in Season 4. I've almost done all the Stark children now. I still have Bran left to do. That'll be a future video. So mild spoiler warning for everything that's happened up to now in A Game of Thrones for Jon Snow at the Wall and in the North. So one of the reasons why I really like Jon Snow, even though he's not my totally favorite character on A Game of Thrones, is that he really sticks to his guns, with a few notable exceptions, one being naked gingers, and the other being White Walkers, but everyone pretty much loses their shit whenever they see a White Walker, so I don't blame him for that. So if you remember at the end of Season 3, Jon Snow had basically left the Wildlings, he basically ran back home. He was really on this espionage mission that kind of got a little sidetracked. I blame Sexy Time, but hey, you would totally take the bait too. He even almost ran into Bran and Hodor, but I felt like Bran didn't really address that he was seeing Jon Snow through the wolf's eyes, and Jon Snow obviously didn't know they were up in the tower. So once he makes it back to the Night's Watch in Season 4, there are going to be a couple important things to address. One, why did he run away? Everyone still thinks he's a traitor. Two, the Lord Commander has been murdered, so obviously there's going to be a new leadership structure in the Night's Watch. And three, the Wildlings are still attacking. So just to talk about the Lord Commander real quick, for anyone who's a big Torchwood fan, you can get really excited because Burn Gorman confirmed that he's coming back as that Night Watchman who murdered Old Craster and the Lord Commander, so he's going to be in Season 4. But most of Season 4 for Jon Snow will look a lot like Season 1. That is, it'll take in and around the Wall. He's not going to be traveling around a lot like he was in Season 3 with Ygritte. Speaking of Ygritte, she is coming with the Wildlings, and she's either coming to finish their breakup and get some closure, or murder him in his sleep. I kind of think it's the second one. But mostly when I talk to people about Game of Thrones, I tell them to remember that there are really no happy endings for anyone. Everyone kind of dreams of that happy ending, and you really hope that you'll see Jon Snow and Ygritte reunited and they'll run off in a field and get married somewhere and have lots of babies, but no, that is not going to happen. That doesn't really happen for anyone on Game of Thrones. So that being said, do you think that Jon Snow is actually going to be responsible for the death of Ygritte in Season 4? I kind of feel like that's where the story is going. I don't know what they're going to change from the books, but obviously their relationship was doomed from the start. So let me know what you think. There are a couple other important things about the Wall too. Obviously Stannis is headed there with his army. I don't think that they'll make it there till the end of the season, so I don't think a lot of the bigger action and the big twist in the story will happen till Season 5. Remember, since the Wildlings are coming and Stannis is coming, there's going to be a lot going on at the Wall. I don't think that will really escalate till the end of the season, but I do think that we'll see a battle with the Wildlings before Stannis' army gets there. But for the other characters in the Night's Watch, there's some really important things going on in the way that the Night's Watch is changing in the show. Remember, they spent all of Season 1s, 2, and 3 talking about how they don't have enough men, they're losing people to the White Walkers, everyone keeps dying, they have no food, and no one knows how to fight, like Sam. So they're in a bit of a tight spot. So if they have trouble repelling the Wildling invading force, what are they going to do when the White Walkers get there eventually? Obviously, I don't think there'll be any White Walker battles until Seasons 5, 6, who knows. Obviously, that's more of a Winds of Winter story, and that book hasn't even been written yet. That's kind of where Stannis' army comes in. So obviously, since that isn't going to be happening probably till the end of the season, there isn't going to be a lot of action with the White Walkers or epic battles. There'll be some smaller battles with the Wildlings because remember, when Jon Snow ran away and ran back to the Night's Watch, they were actually already on their way to the Night's Watch, so he basically didn't have that far to travel to make it back. In fact, I would go so far as to say that that battle with the Wildlings, that raiding party that's on their way, will happen in the first couple of episodes. Since George R. R. Martin is actually writing one of those first couple of episodes in the season, I would go so far just to say that he might even be writing Ygritte's death. But let me know what you think is going to happen at the Wall and what's going to happen to Jon Snow in Season 4. Obviously, he's going to be taking much more of a leadership role as the show gets on. I don't know if that'll totally happen in Season 4, but now that Sam knows how to fight the White Walkers, I think he's going to spend the rest of that season learning about their lore and using Jon Snow to kind of teach the other Night's Watchmen how to defend themselves. So don't be surprised if you see a lot of talk about Dragonglass. One of the really exciting things that George R. R. Martin is writing right now that we probably won't get to see in Season 4 though is the lands of Always Winter. It's basically like Westeros' North Pole. There's actually a lot of people living up there, and I think that's where a lot of the armies of the White Walkers are massing, so it'll be really interesting to see that in future seasons. But remember, because they are changing a lot of things, we will see events from the second half of Book 3, Book 4, maybe even Book 5 kind of combined into Season 4. My next preview will actually be for Brienne of Tarth. Obviously, she does not go to the wall, but she's one of my favorite characters on Game of Thrones. Be sure to subscribe to get that video. That will probably post on Thursday. In the meantime, you can click here to check out my other Game of Thrones Season 4 videos, and you can click here to check out my review for the first episode of Sleepy Hollow. Thanks so much for watching. High fives.